Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Manchester United Agenda. I'm joined by Paddy and my little big bro, Kahinde. It's 8:30. You can set your watch by us. Actually, it's 31 minutes past. We're slightly late. I am disappointed this time around. But we're talking everything about Ronaldo. The saga continues. Good evening. This is the Man United Agenda. My name's Omonde Juma, and I'm joined by Paddy. Once again, 2 days in a row, Paddy. How you feeling, man?
Good, very good, and I'm pleased to be on 2 days running. Actually, usually I'm not on. I'm on when I'm when I go on I can. But yeah, it's great to be on again, mate. Good, yourself on Monday and your brother down there. Brother's fantastic, and with the Mondo family. So I'm pleased with that, bro. Pleased with that.
You're protected. We're both big boys, as you were saying earlier. So yeah, if you're coming down to London and you need some backup, one phone call, bro.
Bro, exactly. That is fantastic. You got two centre halves, and I'm the left midfielder. Okay.
All right. Well, Kahinde's left-footed, so he can spray the ball out to you, and I'll back you up, and I'll be on your back. For any mistakes, and things. But I know you'll be playing with that ruthless aggression, Paddy.
Get out of the way. Come on, I got to score. Quick. Come on. Get out of the way.
Kahinde, how you doing, man? I heard some good things about your team, the team that you coach, Academy Boys. You had a good result the other day?
Yeah. Really good result. It's really good for them to get back together after quite a while away. And I'm looking forward to any upcoming tournaments and things like that we got coming up, arranging more friendlies. But today is about Man United.
Yes.
Good
and just quickly say, I was looking forward to the London Youth Cup. You were supposed to enter that, but it's been cancelled, hasn't it? Due to these issues from clubs abroad. But yeah, if anyone who doesn't know Zico Kahinde, he runs a team of academy kids, or he tries to get kids into academies. I've seen them play. He's got them well organised. They respect him. They play for him really well, and he gets them into clubs, all these youngsters. So he's doing a great job on grassroots level, and he's a great little coach.
Thank you,
and I'm also my centre-back partner. When we're allowed to, we play brilliantly together. Left foot, right foot combination. But anyway, like you said, you're here to talk about bigger things, aren't we? And this is going to be a very short show. It's not going to be like one of these 1 hour shows like before. But before we do, I just want to big up Talk MU in the chat. How you doing? Talk's away at the moment. We really missed you, bro. It's different without you. He's our technical guy, does all the things behind the scenes. And we realise in your absence how important you are. Man United Agenda, obviously. Make sure you subscribe and like the channel. We love you guys, all the support you've been giving us. I want to say hi to FC United Forever. Welcome to the show. It's none of the Irishmen are here, apart from Paddy, the English Irishman, unfortunately. But they will be back next week for sure. I want to say hi to Andy Long. He says good evening. Also saying Stephen Howson did a scout review of Sesko. See it, anybody? I haven't seen it. No. Signed Jim just for skinning the scouts as like he did. All right, fine him. He wants him to sign him because he did what he done to Curtis Jones and scoring a goal against Liverpool. I hope you guys want to look at him. And big up to FTB Column saying big up. Let's hear all this Ronaldo stuff. And finally, the boss man who's supposed to be on holiday but cannot resist. He's tuning in. How you doing, Errol? Welcome to the show. So yeah, first things first. Let's talk. Oh, sorry. Before we do, Emma is in house as well. How you doing, Emma? And not Jim, damn phone. Yeah, I know Andy. Happens to us all. All right. So tonight, because we've got 10 o'clock takeaway as well. Tonight, we're going to discuss all things Ronaldo, about this saga. And I just want to get the opinions of you two on the panel as well, and people in the comments as well, because it's been dragging on. So as we know, Ronaldo came back to us last year. We were excited. I think he came back on the premise that he would be getting Champions League football, which he was last year. And with the improvements we made with Varane and Sancho, he must have assumed that we would have got it this year. Obviously, we came sixth and things just went to pot. But when we've fallen on our face, sometimes when you lose, you really win. Because us being so poor last season meant that we had to have a drastic change. And now we've got new management, new staff, a new idea, new ambitions. And we're looking good for this season, I believe, anyway, as a team. We've got rid of all the poison within the club. So, but Ronaldo now is being a bit up. He's been a bit upset. Obviously, he's had some personal problems. He hasn't travelled to on tour. He's claimed he had personal problems. He's come back this week, and we heard all about it over the last couple of weeks now. How he wants to leave. He wants to play Champions League football. Now, this isn't direct quotes from him. It's all through his agent and that kind of thing. So, I'm going to start with this issue here about Champions League football and wanting to leave the club. I'm going to start with you, Paddy. So, what do you think the main reason for him wanting to leave Manchester United is right now?
I think, as you mentioned it, he does want Champions League football. He wants that's his stage really, and that's what he wants to do. That's where he wants to carry on in Champions. So that's a decision for him. Again, I support everything that Ronaldo wants to do. I saw, if he wants to leave his contract, pay his contract up and leave, no problem at all. I saw Ronaldo in his pomp. He came back last season, and I said this earlier. He did a fantastic. He was brilliant for us last season. The goals, excellent, brilliant. But the Europa League isn't for him. I'm a big Champions League fan, not a big Europa League fan. I think the Champions League is where you need to be. I think that does fly in the face of a few people, close friends of mine who like the Champions League. It's actually the Cup Winners' Cup for me on Monday, I suppose, or the UEFA Cup it was previously. But Champions League, where this club should be. And Cristiano has made that clear, and his agent's been at the club this week. Even Sir Alex was there as well, trying to persuade him apparently to stay. I think that's all wrong, really, a little bit. If he wants to leave, do you know what? Respect that decision. But I understand he's in. He's there possibly tomorrow. But you know what? You've got to be careful saying you're not going there, you're not going anywhere. I mean, this is a different situation with this player, because this player has come. I mean, he should have really stayed a season, really, Amanda, not 2 years. And there's an option for a third, I understand, for 12 more months. But you know what? I support him wherever he wants to do. I do. He's a special player. He wants to move on to other clubs, great. But I understand, on the flip side of that there's no clubs in for him. Atletico Madrid are saying CR7, no entry. And there's lots of other clubs. But he could go back to Sporting because that's his previous love and his club that we bought him from. And I really would be happy to bless him. He wants to go home, great. Fine. So I support Cristiano. I'm not one of these people who say he must stay. No, I support him. As long as he pays up for his contract, he has signed it. He can pay all that money back because we need it. We got to buy another replacement. So there you go.
Thank you very much. Come to you, Kinde. Now, I asked the question about what's the reason, and Paddy sort of covered that. It's talking about maybe he wants to play Champions League football. Now, if he is on a 2-year contract, is that acceptable for you? You're a coach. I mean, how would you feel about that if your player said, "Oh, sorry, London Youth Club Cup's not on. I want to play somewhere else," when he was contracted to play that? I mean, is it acceptable for Ronaldo to do that, to say, "I want to leave strictly because I want to play Champions League football"? Wasn't he part of the team that failed to get sixth place, failed to get top 4, and ended up in 6th place last year? What are your feelings on that? Be honest now, about regardless of reputations.
Yeah, I support him. I totally understand why he wants to leave. I think, if he wants to play Champions League football, and that's the highest level, that's the pinnacle, and he's coming towards the end of his career, he should have that choice where he wants to play, at what stage. He didn't come to United to play in the Europa League. He come to win trophies and be playing the Champions League. So I fully support him, and I hope that he gets his wish and he goes to a Champions League club. I heard his missus is not really settled here. Obviously, he wasn't with her last time he was living in Manchester. She hasn't really settled here. They've had a lot of issues. And I think Sporting would be a great move for him. I called that from weeks ago, since he announced that he didn't want to stay. His mother's always saying about him, you should go back to that club, they're your foundation and things like that. And at 37, I think it would be a great move because he'll be the main man there. You have an opportunity to win a league with Sporting Lisbon in Portugal. They don't win the league too often. They won it a couple of seasons ago, and they could all play for him. And they're a very good side. They've got a great manager, a great young manager. And, they got to the latter stages of the Champions League last season. I think that would be a good move for him. I understand why these other clubs are not really interested in him, like Atletico, Chelsea and all that, because if you're a manager, you're thinking about long-term players, not any short-term solution. And, Ronaldo in 2 years' time, we don't know what level he'll be at. So I fully support him. I want him to get his wish to leave. I'm not saying I want him to go, but if that's what his wish is, I don't think any player we should force any player to stay who's unhappy.
Okay, so I've asked the question. I said, is it acceptable for him to leave? And you guys have both said, yeah, it's okay for him to leave, even though he's under contract. And you're talking about, it'd be great for him to go to Sporting Lisbon, or it'd be great for him to play in the Champions League. We are Man United supporters. I'm really surprised with this, guys. You let me down here. What about what like Bart's saying here? Ronaldo's never won the Europa League. What about winning trophies like that with us? You know? But I understand his sentiments, and we're going to just go through a couple of comments just to get an idea where to sort of.
Sorry, bro. Let's remember he's 37, not 27. If he was 27, I might have a different argument. I'll be like, nah, you stay longer.
And also, I saw him at his pump. He was back. I was surprised he returned back to the club, because sometimes you never go back. So it was really surprising when he came back. It was great. Don't get me wrong. He saved us last year, but you know, he's been at this club. He left for Real Madrid. That was it. That was the time to. Your time's done. Thank you. We all have a time at a club. Never return back. So I just don't get it about the comments about Ronaldo coming back and keeping his contract. He's not going anywhere. Look, he's a very, very special player. That's it.
So we're a special club.
We are.
Some would say he's being disrespectful. But let's go to the comments and see what the comments are saying. And if you stop me, if you want to sort of add to this, guys. So Rebels in the house, he's watching from the bleachers. Colin saying here, I like CR7, but if he doesn't want to be here, let him leave. We have enough going on with the club without issues that Ronaldo is bringing. I hope he does great and wish him the best regardless. So similar to what you guys are saying. Bart, the Liverpool fan, is saying Sporting Lisbon would be a romantic move. I would want Man United to pay a chunk of his wages. Oh God, I don't know about that. To play a chunk of his wages and let him play there, as Manchester United are his home, and he would always come back and have a place here. So real sentiments here. Emma's saying, why didn't he write in the contract that he could leave if he doesn't get a Champions League spot? That's a very good point. And he should have said that as soon as he couldn't get it, and did that interview with Ten Hag. So what do you reckon about that point? Do you reckon when he signed the contract, do you think that should have been in the contract that I need Champions League football?
Sorry, bro. The thing is about that, you touched on it, yeah? We signed Varane, Ronaldo, and Sancho. Now, I wouldn't anticipate with those signings that we wouldn't get in the Champions League. I thought we were guaranteed top four because we're improving, you know, on what we did. We finished second, and we got to get those three players. You would think that we would get top four at least. So I wouldn't have anticipated that we would finish sixth. I think it was a shock to everyone the way the season unfolded.
No, there was no shock to me that no one's guaranteed top form, bro, at all. No one is guaranteed top four. Even with those players coming, Varane would take time. And there was a discussion between with Carragher and Keane about, you know, Ronaldo's come to win trophies. He's going to win this top four on his own. No way that was going to happen. And I saw in the first game I was here last season, we were flying Mason Greenwood, Ronaldo, you know, was there. Oh God, but people did get carried. It was a long season, but then the rut started and the problems happened. We couldn't recover. Manager's not really up to it, I don't feel. And then it just went. There was no guarantee, bro. Seriously, wasn't in it. And that is it. And I think Ronaldo towards the middle of that season went, oh dear, what have I done? What have I joined? You know?
Okay, so going on, Bart is saying, forget about Ronnie for the moment. Think about CR7 Junior, the youngster, his son. What if he's 50% as good as his father? Then we're talking about £100 million player. Let's him ensure that Junior made his debut at Manchester United. So obviously his son's playing in the youth team at the moment. Rebel saying, not a chance, Bart. That would be shocking business decision. If he goes, then he negotiates his exit from United, foregoes the remainder of his contract, and it's up to him to accept the play to drop. Bart saying Champions League is not the pinnacle. The Premier League and Man United should be the pinnacle of every player here. Sporting Lisbon, he says, lost 5-0 to Manchester City, so not saying they're in a good shape at the moment. Emma's saying he should have he stopped having a choice as soon as he signed the contract. The rules ain't different just because of his name. Keep that same energy for all the players. That's a good point by Emma. Bart saying the Champions League is always a cherry on the cake. Premier League is bread and butter. And finally, Rebel was saying here, also it's evident a good way back into the season we were going to miss the mark on the top four. So why wait until pre-season to throw the baby out of the bathwater? So there's a good point there. Can we just touch on that? Why did he wait so long? Because obviously the manager's planning with him in mind. He said that from a long time ago. Do you think it's unprofessional to sort of like, as Rebel would say, throw your toys out the pram kind of thing at this stage and create all this drama? Can I just give you a quote quickly? He said earlier today or yesterday, he said that he can't believe the media stories. A lot of stuff is basically saying it's a load of BS. What's being said, what's put out there, a lot of lies and a lot of non-truths. So what do you think about that, guys? Do you think the timing's really bad? Do you think it should have been done behind closed doors, maybe? Do you think it should have been done a lot earlier, made a decision so we can plan, like bring someone new on pre-season tour that we know is going to be playing up front? Paddy, what do you think about that?
Well, the thing is, you can't, and I said previously, we can't replace Ronaldo, but given that Instagram thing, he hasn't come out publicly and said only on Instagram today. What he said was quite a cryptic message. You know, like you said, it's all bullshit. I don't know why you listen to or what's been. Is he staying? Is that Instagram message today? Does that mean that he's staying possibly on for the next season? Because means they've had a meeting, but you don't know what. No one knows what's said in that meeting that took place. And then with George Mendes and with Arnold spoke and on all the team. And Sir Alex Ferguson was there apparently.
Was Ferguson actually there though? Was Ferguson actually? Because I'm hearing it maybe wasn't.
He was at Carrington that day, definitely in that time, because it was the photograph was him seen going through the gates when they were having the meeting. So, but I don't know whether he was in that meeting at all. We're assuming now, but if he was in that meeting, does that mean he's persuaded him to stop? And it's all. And as Ronaldo come out in the Instagram message, you've just said on Monday, is he going to stop for this season and then go season after? Is there going to be agreement? It's going to maybe come out. Has that been agreed? That Instagram message was interesting today, saying it's all rubbish. Don't know what you're talking about. And he's in the squad for tomorrow. So maybe it's all a bit of a ruse at the moment. Then on Monday.
So Kahinde, Fakur here is saying if he wants to go, let him go. No worries. We rebuild. Might as well roll our sleeves up now and rather than wait till next season to do it. So my point is, why leaving it too late? We need to rebuild. We should have started this from day one, around June, knowing what our squad's going to be, rather than waiting now to the end of July and worrying we've got to start the Premiership in a couple of weeks and worrying about Ronaldo story when we should really be concentrating on our side. Do you feel it's unprofessional of Ronaldo? Should have timed this a bit earlier?
I don't think it's unprofessional because we don't know what's been going on in his personal life since the season finished. Something's obviously happened that's made him change his mind. I think maybe in the beginning he was probably pleased about Ten Hag's appointment and thought, yeah, the new guy's coming in with some change or whatever. But like I said, we know there's been reports about some family issues here. And also, I think it's just, again, I don't want to say his ego, but he wants to be playing. He must be thinking, actually, I don't want to be playing in Europa League. I want to be playing Champions League. When he really thinks about it and he reflects on it. So, yeah, anything can happen within a month. And we've got to deal with it as a club. We've got a new manager. He's bringing all these new players in. He's building for the future. And we're talking about a 37-year-old player leaving. It's not to me, it's not a huge deal.
I agree with that. Yeah.
You know what? So I've been sort of talking about him leaving and all of the backstory to all this. But the new banner we've got here is Ronaldo returns. Guess what, guys? From all of this, now he's obviously returned to training. Carrington, he's been keeping himself fit in Portugal. But now the news is coming out today that he's back. And he's actually tweeted, or there's been a thing on Instagram where he said, Sunday the King plays, which suggests that even though he's not in the squad going to Norway to play Atletico Madrid, he could be playing against Rayo Vallecano on Sunday. As these cryptic messages are going around, we're trying to decode it. So Ronaldo returns. It could just be a ploy here to play with our emotions. He could be playing on Sunday, which means just in time for the Premier League to start, and he could be back in contention for a place in the starting 11, maybe. What do you think about this, Paddy? He could be back this Sunday. Happy about that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, if he comes back and he gives he's part of the squad and he does what he did last year, then great. That's fantastic. And Ten Hag has insisted all the way along that he's not going anywhere. And he said, what did he say in that press conference? What do you think of Ronaldo? He went goals. That's what he said, goals. So if he comes back great. I mean, he might not be able to get in the team. I still think we need to get replacements in that forward line, regardless of who's there now. I'm not a big fan of Martial, as you already know. So I would still think they should get someone in that role there. Still, don't rely on Cristiano Ronaldo to get us goals. Get someone else in just for next year, possibly. So yeah, it'd be great. Be great Monday. I'd be pleased. Yeah, I'd be pleased. Of course, I would be.
So despite that news, he could be playing against Rayo Vallecano. Box is staying here, Kahinde. Ronaldo's leaving 99% on Monday. He doesn't want to be here. Same way Di Maria doesn't want to be here. So do you think he should play? If he's definitely leaving, do you think he should be playing on the weekend? Or do you think the boss should sort of be fair? Like his boss has been quite brutal, hasn't he, since he's been there with his discipline? Do you think the boss should play him? If he's the fact that Box is saying here 99% he's leaving the club?
It's up to Ten Hag. It's not for me to say. I mean, because obviously I don't know what went on in the meeting, but if he is staying, it's only because he hadn't had an offer where he wanted to go to a Champions League club, and it's obvious that a lot of teams are just not interested in him at this stage of his career, and that would be the only reason why he'll be staying, to be honest. But like I said, I'm just easy on it. Whether he stays or goes, I'm easy because. He, you know, you've got to respect the man in his career, whatever choice he decides to make. But like Fergie said, no player is bigger than the club. He can't really hold us to ransom at the same time.
But he did it, as Box is saying here, he's very disappointed by Ronaldo. He hasn't learned from the age of 24 when he was in 2009. Him as agent acting very amateurish. Shocking, to be honest. So a bit of, I don't know...
This is overreaction. This is overreaction. Unfortunately, I mean, you mentioned about Di Maria. You cannot compare him to Di Maria in the way he came to this club. Di Maria turned up for 1-2 matches and went, "Don't like it here, I'm going." You cannot compare this.
Exactly, because Ronaldo's had a history of this club where Di Maria didn't.
Had nothing.
Ronaldo knows about what this club inside out.
Yeah, exactly. So I've seen Ronaldo in his pomp when he started, when he came to the club, and when he left Madrid. That was the era finished for me. If he comes back, it was a bonus. That is it. Seriously.
So just quickly before we wrap up on Ronaldo, do you think, like, if he does stay, Box is saying 99% he's not staying, but if he does stay, will it be a positive for what Ten Hag's trying to achieve here? As a squad player and maybe a bit of rotation here. We've got so many games because we're a bit light up front with that sort of number 9 role. Or do you think it's going to be a negative and he's going to be sulking around or demanded to play? Do you think he's still got it as well, even though he scored enough goals last season? What are your thoughts on Ronaldo? I mean, because I've heard you say he's not 27, he's 37. What's that supposed to mean, Kahinde?
It means that, like, you know, his age I'm not saying it's a concern, but it's father time. You know, this season he could be off form and not as good as he was. It could be over for him. You know, I remember, I'm going back now, Gabriel Batistuta when he went to Roma, and they bought him at like 32 or something, but he smashed it first season, got 20 goals, won the league. The next season, he couldn't buy a goal. He was awful. He scored like 6 goals or something, but he was finished. After that, he was done. So this is why I'm just like, he's 37. I don't mind if he stays or goes. If he stays, he's a good experienced player, good experienced pro. He knows where the goal is. We could use him sparingly. But I know you said you're not a fan of Martial, but I feel like, for me personally, if you're Ten Hag and you're looking to plan ahead, Martial's 26. He should be coming into the prime of his career. He's a guy, we know he's got talent, but
he never turned up, mate, either.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying under the right manager, I think that he will flourish. But you know, so that's what I'm looking more. I'm more looking for the future. I'm not.
He's on my minibus. I've got the minibus all parked up, bro. With a few. His name is on one of the seats, Kahinde. Seriously, I know what you're saying, bro, but that's just my personal opinion. But I'm sorry, he hasn't turned up and won't turn up, even though everyone say he was the next thing since sliced bread on pre-season. I'm sorry, for me, his time is done. He's surplus requirements.
In recent history, we've bought like players like Cavani, we bought Ronaldo back, we've had Zlatan as well. It's just sort of like a retirement home for all these great strikers, isn't it? Do you think it's time we sort of looked at different options now, younger players who are going to sort of develop their game at Manchester United and improve under the coaching of Ten Hag? Or do you think, like they're saying here, Cavani, Bart saying, I feel Cavani would have been suited for Ten Hag as he could graft a bit like Haller did. So obviously we're talking about this guy Sesko from Salzburg. Have you had a look at him, bro?
Yeah. So it's what everyone does, isn't it? They hear the name, they go on YouTube, look at the highlights and all that. Yeah, he looks like a big, strong target man striker. He's like 6'4", he's only 19, and you could use him as an understudy to whoever the first choice striker is, because he's young, and so that would be a decent signing, you think, because he's a player with a lot of potential and could come on and make
can I ask you something quickly, just on a tactical side of things? What sort of striker? It doesn't matter if it's someone from the history or whatever, but what of Ten Hag, what kind of a striker does he need? What kind of striker, what mold does he have to be in to be sort of, what attributes does he have to have? Or can you name a striker from the past
I'm
playing that you feel would fits the idea of a Ten Hag sort of number 9?
I feel like with Ten Hag, who did he have before? Was it Haller or something?
Haller, yeah.
And you compare him, he also had Huntelaar. He brought Huntelaar back to Ajax. And Huntelaar is like a big, strong target man striker and things like that. But he's a bit different from Haller, in terms of their playing style. Haller probably does a lot more running and things like that. Huntelaar is just like a kind of box guy. So I just think Ten Hag, I'm not saying it doesn't matter what type of striker that he has, but I think the way that they play football would be easy for any type of striker. The Ten Hag system would be easy for any type of striker to play in. You could have an Inzaghi type of striker. You could have a Martial type of striker, or any striker. It doesn't matter, because it's more about the system. Anyone who could score goals.
So you don't think there's a model for some?
There's no real profile type from what I've seen, because he's had those two types of strikers. I just think anyone who could score goals, and
I just think it's interesting. I'm saying that because I'm saying here, Paddy, because Sesko that we're looking at, he's 6'4". Haller was a big target man himself in that mold as well. And then there's also a guy from Stuttgart, I think, who's a 6'7" striker.
And he wanted Nunes. He wanted Nunes, didn't he?
Who?
Nunes. He wanted Nunes.
Who's Nunes?
The Uruguayan striker.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Liverpool just kind of mean
that guy. Yeah, the one who.
Nunes. Yeah, he wanted. Yeah. So he's a. So maybe you touched on it. Maybe he does like a type of mold, to target man number 9.
Old-fashioned.
Yeah. Someone with good physical attributes and tall.
I like that.
What do you think, Paddy? Just last thoughts on the idea of our striker, because Martial's not in that mold, is he?
Not really.
Not really. No, he won't. That's good, really. That Ten Hag wants a tough striker. That means that Martial. I don't think he may not fancy Martial. I know he spoke about, but he did. He thought about him being you're going to get better from him. I don't understand that at all. We'll have to see what happens. But I think Sesko, but he's untested, he's untried. I don't know. I saw something today from Fabrizio Romano saying it's all been agreed, but he's going to be going back to his club for the season.
He's going to be loaned back. Yeah,
loaned back. So that it's good, to be fair. But what I would love to have? Obviously, I know we don't want Dad's Army FC on Monday with all his players, mercenaries coming in team. But we had Lewandowski. I know he's gone to Barcelona now, which is I don't know how they're going to afford to pay him or whatever. But I'd like to have had him in our team maybe for a season if Ronaldo did move on. But I don't know whether he would have. I don't know if Ten Hag would have fancied him. Like I say, is he not in the mould that Ten Hag likes? So that's just my little fancy football bit, isn't it? But no, but it's good. I think having a strong striker, and we'll see what happens. But if we don't get those goals on Monday, which I think we will. Got to be positive. So I like this manager, and I'll go with the manager's philosophy. But it's again. Let's see what happens. And you've got these friendlies tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. Be interesting to see what happens.
Okay, so a couple comments. We just get a feel of what the people in the comments are saying here. Felix Flex, how you doing, man? He says Jambo from Canada. Big up, bro. He says Bart saying, can't man you go for Ollie Watkins, boyhood fan. I thought he's an Arsenal fan, wasn't he? Plays for a massive club in Villa, speaks English, and trained by legendary Steven Gerrard. You know what he's doing there. Box is saying very disappointed by Ronaldo. He hasn't learned from 24, as we were saying earlier. Box is also saying Jorge Mendes is effectively pimping Ronaldo out to all the sundry at the moment. Very embarrassing. No one wants him. Imagine that. Emma here saying he's an asshole. Do not excuse his behaviour. Box again is saying Ronaldo thinks that United fans crumbs coming back for this one season for novelty means we will give him a release free of charge. We won't do that. So Box and Emma are on the same page. Felix is saying, would you rather Martial 15 goals and 10 assists or Ronaldo 24 goals and 3 assists? I don't know if that's going to be the case under this system.
When was that?
Box again. Go on.
When was that? What stat was that from 2015?
He said, well, this 15 goals, 10 assists, that's 25 goals and assists from Martial, or 24 goals and 3 assists from Ronaldo. There's a lot of people claiming that Ronaldo is detrimental to other players in the team and their numbers drop while he's scoring goals. I think that's where he's going with that. Vincent is saying young, fresh blood will go for the kill. We'll go for the kill. The fruit of Leeds, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, and Arsenal, and just tearing apart like you wouldn't believe it. But you're going to love what you're going to see. And Emma's saying to Felix, because the other players, because the others are going to get goals and assists too, but not with Ronaldo. So she's on page with Felix there. Ten Hag didn't use a strike in the semi-final reaching system. After the exodus of those players that he incorporated Haller and played Tadic on the left. Initially, Tadic was a number 9, a false 9. Box is saying Ronaldo should have said he wanted out a long time ago. Could have mooted it as early as January when things were looking a bit dodgy. We found solutions. We could have found solutions a lot easier and less drama. I agree. I want to say hi to Bub. Hey, Bub, how you doing, girl? She says, I hope we get him. Look, we're talking about the Sesko, I imagine. Looks like a future for our solutions and not going into the past. Talking you saying a forward that can rotate and play as a false 9. And last couple with Felix is saying, my thoughts exactly to Emma. If players are scoring 2, the morale will be higher. Than rather than depending on what Ronaldo is scoring as goals. So to their argument is saying here, if everyone's scoring and assisting, which we didn't do last season, it was Ronaldo getting on the goals, the morale in the squad will be higher. Do you agree with that, Kehinde?
Yeah, I do. I think someone mentioned it about Bruno's stats being a lot lower when Ronaldo played last season. I don't know if Ronaldo affected Bruno's game, but Bruno had something like 28 goals the previous season, however many assists. He's like up there with De Bruyne in terms of like creation and stuff like that. But his stats dropped down dramatically. He only got like 10 goals last season and not many assists. So he could be like, it could affect the way that we were playing, because I think a lot of players were chipping in from goals the season before last.
Yeah.
Again, impartial, I'm not fussed for these days or goes.
Okay. Just want to say hi quick to Robert. How you doing, Rob? He said, how'd you going, boys and girls? Yeah, we're great in the comments and we're great in the channel as well. Just to throw that to you, Paddy, do you think it's detrimental, like having someone who's scored the goals and then it decreases the output of other players? Or do you agree with that statement there from Box? Or do you think like Ronaldo under the system will be, scoring more goals and assisting as well, and everyone will be contributing?
Thing is, we don't know what system he's going to play, Ten Hag, do we? And how Ronaldo fits into that system. But what I'm saying is, from last season, he got all the goals, and these teams gave him so much room. He scored some fantastic goals outside the box and whatever. So, but if he does chip in and help the other players get the goals as well, it's going to help the morale. And I think it's going to go really well, actually, Ten Hag. If Ronaldo does stay and the other players get goals and he does as well, it's going to be all good and rosy in the garden, as far as I'm concerned. I think that may happen. I really do.
Just to add to this point, which was a really good talking point, I believe. Box is throwing out some really good points here. He's saying Ronaldo did the same to Juve last season. They were left toothless in attack and were 10th place by October before Vlahovic signed in January, and they ended up getting 4th. So left Juve, obviously, and they were sort of focused on him getting all the goals. Did he win the league with Juve, Kahinde?
I think 3 seasons. I think he won 2 out of 3 leagues. Yeah, the last season he came fourth. So I wouldn't read too much into that. And Juve, I think last season finished fourth as well. So Ronaldo wasn't there last season. So I'm not going to read too much into that.
Just quickly, Abab is saying, let's trust our manager. And I really believe in that statement as well. I think that's the most important thing right now. Because we talk so much about Frankie de Jong, about Ronaldo, all these sagas going on. But the manager is the main man. He's one to make all the decisions out there. And I'm just enjoying his identity in football, what he's going to bring to the game. Andy Herbert, how you doing? He says, I have always said Ronaldo affected Bruno's game, as Kahinde was saying earlier. And finally, Boxer saying, I'd have kept Ronaldo for one more season, 100%. But if he goes, look for the positives. Yeah, that's right. So any other business, guys? You got any other business before we move on and say goodbye to everybody? Paddy, any other news you heard about, transfer news, or anything you want to say about how you're feeling going into the new season?
First of all, I mean, there was something raised today about, I'm just going to get it up now, about there was a think tank that Arnold put together involving Sir Alex Ferguson, David Gill, Brian Robson, John Murtaugh, so he can draw on the experience of all aspects of MUFC. I'm hoping that's not a setup, but knowing Arnold, I think he's incompetent, especially after the turning up at that pub with all those, bless them, the lads from the protest club. That was just madness. Good that he did, but not very professional. So I hope he doesn't do this, because Brian Robson, great player at this club, I don't think was a great manager. I don't think he can add any more, really. We've got a new era now under Ten Hag. Sir Alex and David Gill, that's history now, and that's all done. But they can always give a bit of advice if Ten Hag wants him. I don't think Ten Hag's asking for a think tank, so I think that's think tank's going to leave. That's going to stay as a think tank somewhere in a nuclear bunker somewhere. But it'll stop where it is. But so I don't believe in any of that. What's happening? But I'd love to see David Gill back with Sir Alex Ferguson. That's the past. But we're in the future now. The present with Ten Hag. So. That's all I know at the moment. But again, De Jong, Darmesh was on today about De Jong, talking about that again. Saga's going to go on and on. That's not dead in the water at all. Barcelona are saying, look, yeah, we want him, but he has to have to get real about the wage structure. Disgraceful how they're operating Barcelona. So I still feel he's going to come to the club, and when he does, I'll be really pleased, really, really relieved and pleased. I'm hoping to God that happens for us. That's all I know.
Yeah, so just to touch on those points, I think they said the 13th of August is going to be Barcelona's opening game against Rayo Vallecano, apparently. And they will know by then about registration with the players and whether Frankie de Jong's going to be in the side. So I think the indication is that by that date, we would have be a lot clearer about what Frankie's going to do and whether he's going to stay at Barcelona and disrupt things there with their registration and wages and all that, or is he going to leave and come to somewhere where he's wanted? The other point you were saying about the think tank, I just want to say here, like, this is something I love the boot room from Liverpool back in the day. Obviously, Shankly built that team, and then part of the boot room was Bob Paisley, and he just was spoon-fed. He was gifted the side, and they went on to win so many trophies, didn't they? And everyone calls him the greatest manager, because he was just gifted a great side. But the thing that kept that club together was the boot room, where all these good football brains and coaches come together and discuss the strategy of the club, and they're all in-house men and they're all real Liverpool men. So I think the think tank is similar to what the boot room used to do for Liverpool. And I think that's very good. I know at our club, we used to do that, didn't we, Broski? Down there, we used to sort of talk every week about what we need to do, have little meetings, that kind of thing. And it's really productive. Kahinde, any other business? Anything left to say? How do you feel about the season? Frankie de Jong, what's happening with that saga? Any news you heard about Dumfries or any other signings coming into Man United?
I think the priority signings for Ten Hag is obviously the midfield area, and he said it himself, an attacker. It could be 2 if Ronaldo leaves, but I think he's hell-bent on Anthony. I think that's the one that he really wants. I want Anthony as well. I think Anthony and Sancho on the wings would be excellent. And with the De Jong thing, I'm so sick of it. I think I was speaking to you during the week about how slow we are on transfers, and it just frustrates me, our transfers. It gets to the point you get excited for the first few weeks, and then by the end you're sick of it. And even if they do eventually sign, you're just because you're so sick of the the drama and the drag on, you know, and just the way that other teams do their business, like Man City and Chelsea. You don't even know that they're interested in the player. It's just announced on Sky Sports, like City signed Phillips, or, you know, City signed Haaland. It's just like they do the business straight away. But us, we got to drag it on. It's like a soap opera. I'm sick of it. And I was 75% on De Jong now, because I was like, I'm convinced this guy, we would not still be in for him. And that's, you know, he must have said to Ten Hag that he's coming, because they've been having phone calls. If he said to Ten Hag he doesn't want to come, we wouldn't keep pursuing him. But now I'm like 50-50, because I'm looking to seeing what's going on with Barcelona over the last few weeks, and this TV deal that they've got has kind of saved them financially a little bit, and they've been able to buy all these players. And I'm thinking, has there been a turn now? Like, De Jong obviously originally wanted to stay for the financial situation, but I'm not too sure now. I'm not too sure. I just hope that we've got someone else lined up if that deal doesn't go through. But obviously, number one, I want, yeah.
Anthony we've been priced out. They're saying 100 million, aren't they, at the moment?
We're getting. I think we're getting. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So just another point here from our man Box is saying, I saw an article saying Ten Hag still wants 4 players. We only got 3 in 3 months. I can't see 4 in 5 weeks. And Emma's saying here, but nobody cares about City. They won't get your clicks, meaning that there's always this issue about Manchester City. They're not a bigger club as us. As Ronaldo was claiming in his quote earlier, Man United, the media just love to talk about us, don't they? Maybe we're getting caught up in this sort of media circus, and some of it, half of it is just lies and non-truths. Who knows? But anyway, that's me for any other business. Oh no, I've got one more thing to say. Yeah, this midfield issue. We've been linked again with Fabian Ruiz from Napoli, the Spanish guy from Napoli. He's been on our radar for a long time now. He plays a deep line midfielder. He's similar, as in he's got good ball retention and can bring the ball out. It's something we're sort of looking for. No one's identical to Frankie de Jong, but I think he's quite close to it. And I would prefer him over Savic, for example. So we've been linked with him again. And can you just name any other players that fit that sort of criteria of a Frankie de Jong style of player? What the manager's looking for? Good ball retention, able to be press resistant, to bring the ball out from the back, be composed, that kind of thing. Is anyone you can think of in world football right now that suits that, meets that identification?
Well, everyone mentions Neves, because Romano keeps saying that Neves is the one that's always on our list. And obviously he's Premier League proven. He is a very good baller. He's got a great range of passing. He's composed. I wouldn't mind him at all. I think he would do a good job in the system. I don't think he's great, but maybe he needs a platform to prove that he's great. You know. So,
well, Darmesh has said that they're keeping other targets warm, aren't they? They said that yesterday. So maybe Neves and that player that we don't know. Sometimes we don't know who the club are talking to, who they're looking at. They obviously got a plan B, possibly for De Jong not coming now. Anthony again was talked about coming again, but like you say, what worries me is how these transfers are negotiated. And I think there's some incompetence somewhere around there. I know it's difficult to get these contracts over the line, transfers over the line, but it does seem to me that other teams are doing it better than we are, and we're Man United. That's really, as you said on Monday, we're the headline newsmakers, aren't we, Manchester United? Because we're the best club in the Premiership, and we're the most talked about club in the Premiership. You know, we are, and that's it. So it's going to, so that there is an issue there, definitely. But we'll see what happens to these targets. But plenty of time yet, lads, for these players to come. So plenty of time. It is.
Just to add, I'm just going to promote now the Fantasy Football League. I'm going to if you look in the comments, I've left the code. It's right here. This is the code for the Fantasy Football League. It's 1CZLY1. That's FFL Fantasy Football League. That's not part of the code. So it's 1CZLY1. Kahinde, you part of this Fantasy Football League? You come jumping in?
You know what? One of my high school buddies, he messaged me today. He inboxed me and asked me to join his one. And I didn't.
No. You clearly said no, didn't you? Why are you saying this?
Loyalty,
I'm just saying, someone's asked me first, you know.
No.
I haven't actually. I was thinking about doing it, and then
Hindi family loyalty comes first, bro. Family loyalty.
But yeah,
can everyone in the comments?
Can
everyone in the comments just show how disgraced you are and how upset you are about Kehinde is talking about a high school mate when he's on the Man United agenda and wants to go with them rather than come with us. Anyway, here's the code, Kehinde, for you. Take a screenshot. It's 1CZLY1. And the show's going to be every Tuesday. Rebels hosting the show with Column, and they'll be talking everything about Fantasy Football League. And if you've got a team, you can come on the show and present your team and talk about how you've made it so successful, that kind of thing. I'm really looking forward to it. It's really blown up. So that's every Tuesday at 8:30. Obviously, guys, tonight at 10 o'clock, Mr. B is back doing his Friday night takeaway. So make sure everyone tunes in and presses a like on his channel. Press a like on this one as well, if you don't mind, guys. Box is saying here that Kehinde is doing a Ronaldo, no loyalty. Talking about his high school friends, going back to sport in Lisbon or Drayton Manor in his case, you know. That's a wrap from us here on the Man United agenda. Don't forget, obviously, there's watch-alongs this weekend as well. If you're interested in watching the Atletico Madrid game, come to the channel. We'll be doing a live watch-along with that. Mr. B will be talking about the preview to these games at 10 o'clock tonight as well. So we've got everything covered here at the Man United agenda, no doubt. And on Sunday as well, the return of Ronaldo, Rayo Vallecano. Not say hopefully, but maybe Ronaldo could be playing. So that would be an interesting one to watch. And I'm sure that will get the numbers in. So 2 watch-alongs this weekend. Tonight, 10 o'clock preview show. You've just been watching Man United Agenda with myself and Wande Juma, with the wonderful Paddy, and my little brother, who's a traitor right now, going off somewhere else to do a Fantasy Football League. Not interested in the Man United Agenda. I don't know if I'm going to be inviting you back for a long time, bro. But you've got a lot of making up to do. That's for sure. I want a lift. I want to borrow your car, and I want to borrow your girlfriend as well, if you don't mind. Anyway, we're signing out. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for everyone in the comments. We appreciate you, and we'll be back. Obviously, like I said, 10 o'clock tonight. Don't miss out. Later.